Hello, American Patriots. Douglas Ducote here, the founder and CEO of Veterans United for Justice, veteran law enforcement officer, retired U.S. Army, and the co-host of a Real World Witness radio show. Hey, there is something going on in our election system. Once again, it's broke. It's broke out in Arizona. It's broke in Georgia. It's broke down in Florida. You would think that after 230 plus years, we would have this figured out by now. But sadly, that's not the case. You would also think that with the invention of the internet, that the voters would be able to do their homework and find out about the candidates before they go and vote. That's not happening. Let's start with a tweet that just happened within the last hour from our president. The tweet said, "Just out in Arizona, signatures don't match. Electoral corruption. Call for a new election. We must protect our democracy." Now, this video is going to focus on Arizona. But trust me when I tell you, there are some screwed up issues right now with the election down in Florida and in Georgia. There is, like for instance, in Florida, 3 days after the election now, trucks showing up from Democrat counties with thousands of ballots that were never turned in. Really? Are you shitting me? And we're supposed to believe that there's no corruption going on here? What's happening in Florida, folks? We're watching you. Let's talk about Arizona. In Arizona, you had two choices, both female, and it was an easy option. I don't care who you were. Democrat, Republican, conservative, liberal. For an American, it seemed like a very easy choice who to vote for. But that's just me talking. Let's start with the Republican candidate, Martha Elizabeth McSally. The Democrat candidate was Kristen Sinema. I believe that's how they pronounce her name. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's how I'm going to pronounce it. For some reason, who's ahead keeps changing. Today's Friday. The election was Tuesday, and we're still counting votes. 1 minute the Republicans ahead, next minute the Democrats ahead, then the Republicans ahead, then the Democrats ahead. This should be like night and day. Hands down, it should be, not because I'm a conservative Republican, it should be that you're voting for the person that will represent America the best. Will represent America because of their core values and beliefs and the way they were brought up and the things they've done in their past and what they bring from their past to the future of America. For instance, in Martha's case, she is a retired U.S. Air Force colonel, fighter pilot. She served 22 honorable years in the military, 4 combat deployments. She is one of the highest ranking female pilots in the history of the United States Air Force. Honor graduate of the Air Force Academy. She was the first American woman, hear me out now, listen to what I'm telling you, voters of Arizona. She was the first American woman to ever fly into combat for the United States Air Force after they lifted the ban prohibiting women to fly into combat. And she did it on 4 separate combat deployments. In my book, and in most Americans' thoughts, she is a true American hero. She served her country with honor and dignity and respect. Now, let's talk about her opponent, who happens to be ahead by a few votes at the moment. She is the first openly bisexual person to win a major party nomination for a U.S. Senate seat. How special is that? If elected, she will be the first female senator elected in Arizona and the second openly lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender person ever to serve in the Senate. Now, she has 14 years legislative history. 6 years as a state representative, 1 as a state senator, and almost 6 years as a member of Congress in the Senate. So, 1 has been serving in Congress. The other one has been serving protecting her ass to do what she's done in the past that I will talk about now. She is pro-gun control. She opposed Arizona SB 1070. She argued that mass deportation of undocumented immigrants is not an option and supported the DREAM Act. She is the only member of Congress that openly admits she does not believe in God, Jesus Christ, and is an atheist. She is pro-choice. She believes it is okay to kill babies, but not terrorists. Now, some people are going, whoa, wait a minute. Really? You got something to back that up with? Well, yes, they do. She organized pacifist protests, including against the Iraq War and the war in Afghanistan, and she said she opposes all war for any reason. Now, after becoming a member of Congress, she's toned it down a little bit and said she's not going to take it off the table because too many in the Democrat Party said you need to change what you're saying because you're a little too off hinge here and going way too far left. What could you possibly mean, Doug? Well, let me tell you. After the September 11th attacks of the United States, she was involved in organizing a Phoenix area group called the Arizona Alliance for Peaceful Justice. The group's mission statement at the time called military action an inappropriate response to terrorism. That's right. You heard me correctly. A military option to terrorism is not something that responsible Americans do. No. She wants to use the legal system to send police over there to arrest him in a nonviolent way, him being Osama bin Laden, and others like him, and bring them to justice. She wrote, as one of the core organizers against the war from day one, September 12, 2001, I have always and will always continue to oppose all forms of war. In 2005 and 2006, if that wasn't bad enough, she co-hosted an Air America radio show with 9/11 truther Jeff Ferris. Though Jeff is the type person that believes that 9/11 really didn't happen. There was no terrorist that flew over here and flew into the buildings and into the Pentagon. No, that was the U.S. government that brought down those towers, and it was a big, huge conspiracy. That's who she was working in conjunction with, hosting a show with. She went on later to say that she didn't know his personal views on 9/11, although we know what her personal views were on 9/11. And that was that using military force is not an option. As an anti-war activist in the years after 9/11, she led a group that distributed flyers depicting an American soldier as a skeleton inflicting U.S. terror in Iraq and the Middle East. That in itself pisses me off to my core, as I'm sure it does you. The flyers promoted a February 2003 rally organized by Local to Global Justice, an anti-war group that she co-founded. She was an organizer and sponsor of the rally and was listed as the point of contact for the event. One flyer referred to Bush as a fascist and saying government is slavery. She described laws as cobwebs for the rich and chains of steel for the poor. Folks, I couldn't make this shit up if I was trying. Excuse me. One big part of her narrative in the past 3 years is she spent a lot of time for 3 years as a homeless child. It's a heartwarming tale of a family grappling with adversity and overcoming odds. She told the story many times, specifically referencing how her family had lived in an abandoned gas station without running water or electricity. That sounds pretty desperate and bad, doesn't it? But, thanks to the New York Times doing a little digging and a little research, they obtained court records showing that the family had been paying electric, phone, and gas bills the entire time that she claimed she was homeless living in a gas station. They also found out that, you know what? She did get that part of the story right. It was originally built as a gas station and had been converted into a house. So, besides being this anti-war person, she's a liar. The things that people will do to get votes. The people of Arizona, there's no way in hell this should be a close race. If you are an American, if you were born here in America, or if you became an American citizen, and you chose to vote for this far-left liberal over an American patriot that served our country with honor and dignity, then something's wrong with you. I would say that you've been eating too many Tide Pods, but no, this is more like a meth problem, a crack issue, shooting heroin type problem. Because that's what I would think about a person that's going to go vote for a person that I just read off basically their resumes. How in the hell did you do that? How was this race so close? Other than you did absolutely zero homework. I found out this information in 5 minutes by doing a simple Google search. And everything I just said is factual, and you can go look it up yourself. And I always encourage those that listen to what I have to say, don't just take my word on it, fact check me. 50% of the people of Arizona voted for a far-left liberal nut job over an American hero. I don't get it. Maybe it's me. Or maybe I'm not supposed to get it. Maybe I'm just supposed to sit back and watch my country go to shit, the country that I served honorably for. Maybe because of the things that I did in my service for this country, maybe I should just shut up because I gave these far-left idiots the liberties and the freedoms to do just that, turn our country upside down and ruin it. Now, besides making a joke about heroin and crack and things of that nature, which I'm sure 50% of the people in Arizona aren't drug addicts. I tell you what I blame it on. I blame it on our school systems allowing far left liberal college professors to infiltrate and talk anti-American shit to our youth. And we see that all the time on the news. Every week there's something new about some radical, far left, crazy, off the wall crap coming out of a professor's mouth. That's where the problem is. And that's the new youth that are voting. Most of those, where are they from? They're out west. But they've spread across this nation and continue to do so. So folks, that's just something for you to think about. Just one more thing that we need to fix while we have President Trump. We need to find a way to get rid of these radical far-left professors in our colleges that are trying to brainwash our youth. Because that's how you take a country and turn it into a shithole. And they're trying their damnedest to do just that. Folks, please hit the little bell, subscribe to my channel so you will know when I have videos out. You can be updated. Also, look at the About Me section. You'll be able to find out information about my life and my service to the country, as well as my Facebook page and my Twitter information. As always, please say a prayer for our men and women serving the United States military, our veterans, our law enforcement officers, our first responders, their families, our president, and our country. And hopefully, sometime in our lifetime, we will see states and counties figure out how the voting system is supposed to work. Because in 230 plus years, they ain't figured it out yet. And that is a problem. Hope you'll have a wonderful and blessed day. For now, I'm Douglas Ducote, and I'm out.